At this point, it's hard to keep track of all the ways in which Trump is trying to subvert the midterm elections. We are doing it here. We will continue to do it here. But the latest came in the form of this social media post in which Trump claimed there will be voter ID for the midterm elections, whether approved by Congress or not. That is, of course, unconstitutional. But he is nonetheless trying, because Trump knows more than anyone that if Republicans lose their majorities in Congress come November, the bulk of his power will be gone, and his administration will be more challenged, and more subpoenas will be issued, and more people will be investigated for good reason. This also might explain why DHS Secretary Kristi Noem made a very last-minute appearance in the battleground state of Arizona today, calling a mysterious press conference on election security in Maricopa County, where there have been many claims of baseless voter fraud. Now, according to a reporter who covered the press conference, as word of the event began to spread locally, supervisors in Maricopa County called an emergency closed-door meeting to receive legal advice about their authority and responsibilities regarding election administration. But it turns out Noem didn't really have much of anything to really announce. She seemed to be just there to waste taxpayer dollars and send a clear message to her boss that she was willing to say what he wanted and to do what was necessary to try to hold on to her job. Joining me now is Stephen Richer. He is the former Maricopa County recorder and has a lot of experience with how elections are run in Arizona. Thank you for being here. You have so much expertise, and so many people are trying to understand what the heck is happening right now. I just want to get your take on Kristi Noem appearing in Maricopa County. I mean, as part of the press conference, she also said Arizona has, quote, been an absolute disaster on elections, that your leaders have failed you dramatically by not having systems that work. To be clear, there is no proof of mass voting fraud and all the things that are being thrown out there. But given your prior role in helping run elections in Maricopa County, what did you think this trip was all about?
Well, if there's two states that President Trump has been fixated with since the 2020 election, it's Georgia and Arizona. So it wasn't terribly surprising that somebody from the Trump administration would come to Arizona and would insinuate or make allegations of widespread fraud. And so when it was announced yesterday that Secretary Noem was going to be here in the Phoenix area, I think speculation ran rampant. Some people were thinking this was going to be Fulton County 2.0. Some people were thinking that they were going to try and seize tabulation equipment. But really, it turned out to be something of a dud. It turned out to be something of just an infomercial for the SAVE Act. And I hope she enjoyed the weather here, because otherwise, like I said, it seems like a waste of a flight.
Yeah, good weather in Arizona. That is true. I should note for people, it is, and you can reiterate this, of course, if you want. I mean, it's very hard to intervene and really, really mess with elections federally because they're run by states. But it seems like they're doing everything possible to try to do that right now. What are you most worried about regarding these threats or efforts we've seen to date to try to interfere with the elections this November?
Well, for the past 5 years, we've worried primarily about the confidence, the American confidence in election administration, because Donald Trump and many of his allies have not stopped lying about election administration since really he began in politics in 2016, but certainly since the 2020 election. And so prior to 2 weeks ago, I would have said it would have been in the aftermath of the 2026 midterm elections that they would have tried to do something. They would have tried to say that those people who were elected weren't really elected because we had problems X, Y, and Z, all of which were fake. But Fulton County changed everything. It showed that we need to have more imagination. It showed that this administration is willing to go to lengths that many of us would have thought unimaginable previously.
So when you think about, obviously none of us can exactly predict what's next. To your point, we know there's certain states that have been focal points. Arizona's one. Trump has named Pennsylvania out loud. There certainly could be others. But as we kind of look ahead to what's possible and what we should be prepared for, where does your mind go on where they might try to expand this to next? Or how they might try to expand it?
Yeah. I don't know. They're very creative, but I think that what needs to be done is states and counties need to be very aware of what their legal rights are, where the federal government's rights stop, and they need to have good relationships with their local council. Because if you look at something like what happened in Fulton County, The sooner that the attorneys in Fulton County could have moved, then maybe something could have been done, or you should just be aware of what can be done. Or now they're filing a Rule 41G motion to try and get those ballot boxes back. But I think that the authority of the federal government in election administration is going to be tested like never before. And clearly, even today, with his remarks regarding voter ID, the president is undeterred by Congress, is undeterred by states' rights, and is sometimes undeterred by the United States Constitution.
We only unfortunately have about 30 seconds left, but we've seen a real reduction in people being willing or able to kind of participate in volunteering for elections. What do you tell people out there who are fearful or worried or not sure they should do it as they have in the past?
There's never been a worse time to be involved, but there's never been a more important time to be involved. So if you're somebody who values being part of history, if you're somebody who values being part in the continuation of American democracy, then you know what it's needed. And so please consider getting out there. And if nothing else, consider being a touchstone for truth. Consider investigating a fact on social media and just telling your friends, let's take a pause, let's take a breath, and let's investigate here, because there might be an explanation for what might seem salacious on the internet.
A touchstone for truth is a really good advice, words to live by. Thank you. It's a perfect place to end. Stephen Richer, thank you so much for being here tonight.